Hey guys, it's Taylor back with Life with Taylor, and today we're going to be reading some Reddit updates. So let's get into it. Alright, I've got 3 stories. I do not remember what I picked. My neighbor has been continuously calling the police for noise complaints in the middle of the day, or over housework/yard work. Okay, this is a long story, so buckle up. Hello Reddit, long-time lurker here. English isn't my first language, so bear with me. My parents, mid-50s, and I, 25, have lived in this township my entire life. Many of our neighbors know my parents well, and we've all gotten along just fine. We just recently had a new neighbor move in with her boyfriend, both mid-20s, next to us in December 2024, and since then she's called the police on us multiple times during the day, and our town's health department too. I don't think you need the health department for noise complaint, but I don't know. For context, my dad owns multiple vehicles/motorcycles and does repairs on them mostly on the weekends during the day. When he's on vacation weeks, he will do them during the week. During the day, he plays music at a low level, think background music, that can't be heard from the street while he does his work. From what we've gathered, this neighbor works from home. As for what she does, we're not sure. She comes up to my dad several times specifically to tell him to stop playing music and doing his repairs during the day and night, mind you. She's also told him he needs to get rid of his truck because it's too loud and rattles her windows. It's a 1969 Chevrolet truck. If you know older vehicles, they have a deeper bass to their engines for the most part. This neighbor's put up a new and flimsy fence nailed to ours and put caulking all over her windows to try and muffle the sound. She's also tossed weeds and grass all over our driveway and has begun harassing the other neighbors for just doing their normal everyday yard work. No, see, when they start, I would be so upset if somebody was throwing weeds in our driveway, because weeds, I don't like weeds, okay? And there's a lot of them that grow, and they're a fire hazard during the summer, and they're just stupid. I've started keeping logs of the police visits because it started to get to a ridiculous level. We've had police come through multiple times a day for the same issue. Apparently the police are aware of who's making the calls, but I figure I might as well keep record too. I'm just appalled. We live in a township with no HOAs and barely any enforcement. Lots of freight trains pass through a few streets over, and the high school hosts games that are very, very loud throughout the year. I don't know what this girl is trying to achieve, or if she has some specific issue with us due to our race, which in itself wouldn't make sense since her relationship is interracial too. Sorry for the rambling, I'm just tired of this lady and her constant harassment. Edit. Clarifying some points I've seen. My dad doesn't do repair or yard work every day. Most of the time he keeps this to the weekends. During his vacation weeks, he may do these more often, but certainly not every day. Also, other people around us do repairs and yard work and play music during the day. Her issues seem to be with us specifically. He has a garage he keeps the music contained in. He doesn't blast the music from the driveway or anything, and our garage is a separate building in the very back of our yard. This has been the same case for the last 30 years my parents have lived here, and she's the first neighbor to complain about the music and the yard work. The neighbor calls multiple times a day. As of right now, I'm setting up a meeting/call with the police department to figure out next steps. I've tried to work with her, but she's been pretty hostile whenever we've tried to work out a civil conversation with her. So far, before we read the edit, I would say, I don't know. It seems like you're doing everything right, like keeping logs, tracking, the calls multiple times a day, calling the police for the same issue. I feel like after the first day, if I was the police officer and I got 5 calls for the same thing from the same person, I would be annoyed. And can't you arrest somebody for harassment? I feel I don't know. All right, let's read the small update as of 5/24. 2025? I think it's 2025. So we're going down a legal route. The neighbor attacked me yesterday when I got home from work. Not sure what her issue is, but I hope we can resolve this soon. I'm so tired. I wonder if that's verbally, because, I don't know. I feel I don't know what's happening here. Okay, update number 1, June 18th, 2025. Nearly 1 month later. Update. Neighbor continuously calling the police for noise complaints. This is crazy. Hello again, Reddit. I hope you're all doing well. Forgive me, I'm not too sure how updates work in this sub. A quick, too long, didn't read. Blah, blah, blah. We just read it. Commonly asked questions. And here are the answers. How loud is the music and how often do these activities occur? 60 decibels is the limit during the day. This is about as loud as a vacuum cleaner according to the health department when we called them to verify. My dad and I marked the sound setting on his stereo volume knob so we don't go over that limit. Generally, the music is much lower. We can have a normal conversation without the music drowning us out. My guess is it's at 40 decibels and below, but I don't have a device specific for that measurement. Yeah, even on like my watch will tell me if it's like, I think 90 decibels because it's like, hey, you're in a loud environment. I don't see the issue here. I don't see how this is bothering this neighbor, but okay. My dad doesn't have the music playing or doing yard work / repair work every day. He keeps these to the weekends unless he has a week off from work. Yeah, we already knew that. These activities we do are usually in the afternoon around 1 p.m. and later. Sometimes we do stuff earlier like 11 or 10 in the summers because of the heat. Our neighbor only calls the police during the week, with many calls happening around noon, even when we're not home. She doesn't do this during the weekends or when I or my mom are doing yard work in the front yard. It's only when my dad's on vacation and he's doing some kind of yard work or repair work with the music playing at a low level. What have we done to reduce the noise? Contacted the health department to verify noise ordinance to alleviate the problem. We've tried talking to the neighbor and her boyfriend to figure out a solution, but we have been met with nothing but hostility. She wants nothing to do with us. We did allow her and her boyfriend to use our fence post to build their own fence onto, but this fence doesn't go the whole length of their property. It only goes to the garage entrance and not all the way to the back of the property. Maybe that's a reason why she can hear the sounds. We know that she's been adding noise proofing to her house, but outside of that, I'm not sure what else we can do. We discussed some details with a detective, and the detective verified that we have done as much as we can do within our power to reduce the noise. Also, this neighbor has called upwards of 50 times in the last 2 months alone for the same issue. She's also visited the precinct enough that she's become a nuisance to them. All right, the update. I added a small update to my original post on the day of, but on the 24th of May, the neighbor confronted me after I'd gotten home from work. I wasn't in the mood to really talk to people. Night shift is brutal, much less to her, so as she started bombarding me with questions about why I wasn't listening to her complaints, I just told her I'd gotten home and had better things to do rather than listen to her complaints. I tried to leave the situation after that and go into my house, but she slapped me. That's physical assault. I'm pretty sure you can get arrested for that, and told me I was a disrespectful bitch and shouldn't talk to her like that since she's older. I don't know her actual age, but I know she's young. I tried to disengage after that, but she kept slapping and hitting me? One of our other neighbors saw the commotion and called the police. It's been a whole thing. We're considering going for more than just assault charges when we're able to. This incident plus my journal logs and the records the police have. We do have a case, but I'm just tired of this situation, and so are my parents. At least my best friend and girlfriend are enjoying the drama. People are saying, get a lawyer, do not interact with her, get cameras, blah, 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 blah. Let's read the updates. Hello, Reddit. It's been a while. First, I want to say thank you for all the comments. LOL, I did get some good advice and some funny advice I do appreciate. I do apologize for taking so long to get back to you all. I was in a work accident in July and have been dealing with a TBI ever since. That and life has been busy for me with good things. What is a TBI? What is a TBI? Okay. Well, very sorry that happened. I wish I could say I have a good dramatic update, but it's rather bland. Nothing huge. My neighbor was slapped with community service and given an order to stop wasting police resources and a fine. She lost her job, so her parents have to move onto the property in a camper to help her out. We haven't had any problems since. My dad thinks they'll move within the year or during the winter, since the winters get super bad here. So yeah, nothing crazy, just a woman being slapped with consequences of her actions. She hasn't bothered us since. My family couldn't be happier. Oh, and we did get a nice new security system for our property, so some things are looking up. If anything major happens, I will post another update, but for now, I'll be back to lurking. Thanks again, Reddit. I hope you all have good days wherever you're at. ETA, I forgot to mention something I think you guys will enjoy. My dad is a beloved member of our community on the street we live in, so a lot of older folks have been taken to causing as much noise as possible to piss off the neighbor. Needless to say, I think it's a work. Okay. Final update, December 6, 2025, 2.5 months later after the previous update. This update's relatively short, but it's a very happy ending. The neighbor and her boyfriend broke up, and they've sold the house. They've since moved out, and we'll probably have new neighbors soon. My dad and his neighborhood buddies have been celebrating quite a bit about it, lol. Even my wife and girlfriend have been laughing about it. We're all glad she's gone, and the legal stuff's been figured out too. So cheers. Anyway, that's my final update for this whole debacle. Thank you, Reddit, folks for sticking around for it. If you've kept up with my updates, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Cheers. Oh, okay. OP replied to the wife and girlfriend statement and says, yeah, I have 2 partners, polycule. Well, that seemed like it turned out great. Here are some comments. I worked in a property management office. It once took us a couple months to realize that we had a tenant with a mental health problem. They kept making noise complaints about a neighbor. We talked to the other tenant who kept saying they weren't doing anything and that some of the complaints were coming in when they weren't even home. They wound up moving to another one of our units. The complaints, however, kept coming about a now vacant unit. When going over her complaints, it started becoming obvious that she was having hallucinations. We did notify the family and they moved her out. Don't know what happened afterwards. Interesting. I wonder if that was some sort of, if she was having some hallucinations. This person just said, I think some people just need to be angry all the time. I don't know. I think maybe it was a mental health issue or I don't know. She's crazy. I'm not really quite sure what the answer is to this, but the ending ended with everybody happy. So, I mean, like 40 decibels. Hold on. Can I, like, how loud is 40 decibels? A quiet comfort noise level equivalent to a quiet library, a soft whisper, or the gentle hum of a refrigerator. I don't know. Even if it was 60 decibels, like, that's not, I don't think that that's loud. Because I can literally play music on my phone all the way up, and my watch won't be like, hey, you're gonna have some hearing issues here in a second. All right, next. What is this? Okay, this one has a baked potato in it. Ready? Am I the arsehole for eating my entire baked potato? I'm gonna go ahead and say no, but, you know, we gotta get some context in here. So, also, it says there is a trigger warning of vomit. So if you do not want to hear about that, go to this timestamp. I, 26 male, am writing this after what I thought would be a nice dinner spiraled into a huge argument. For context, a few days ago, my fiance's 27 female parents invited us over for dinner. The planned meal was a steak with a baked potato and green beans. I have been with my fiance for 6 years, engaged for the last 2, and the first time she ever saw me eat a baked potato, skin and all, she was a little confused but laughed it off and just said, just don't do that around my mom, ha ha ha. I never thought much of that until today, that is. Dinner started off well. General chit chat about work and some discussion about footballs. I'm an Eagles fan and her mom likes the Broncos, so there's always some playful banter there. Is the Broncos the horse? Is that the horse one? I need to Google it now. Broncos. The food comes out, they say a little prayer, and we start eating. Everything is fine until I start digging into the potato. Her father tilted his head a little and looked at her, but didn't say anything. The issue arose once her mother noticed and looked at me like I was the most disgusting and foul thing she'd ever seen. What? I didn't notice at first until she audibly made a gagging sound. Her mother then got up and ran straight to the bathroom. Both my fiance and her father went to check on her, and I was left sitting there confused as hell. A few moments later, her dad came back and politely asked me to leave. I asked if something was wrong, and he calmly explained that, as I've been told before, that his wife has some dietary issues, and part of that includes potato skins, and that seeing me eat my entire potato made her nauseous. I apologized and left. Interesting. About 10 minutes later, as I arrived to the apartment, I get a call from my fiance. I answer and she immediately starts yelling at me, calling me an ass. He didn't know. She made the fiance made like a joke, like, you know, just don't do that around my mom. Okay, why? Why? She didn't tell him. That's her fault, not his. He didn't know. I'm taken by surprise as I didn't expect her to be so upset about this. I tried apologizing and she cuts me off by saying I'm inconsiderate and rude. I start to get upset, but before I can say anything, she says, whatever, we'll talk in the morning. I tried calling her back and she sent me straight to voicemail. I've sent her multiple texts, but she has not read them. I am really confused as to if I'm really the arsehole. No, you're not. No, you're not. This person said, she set him up to fail and then yelled to him about it. Yeah, people are saying you're not the arsehole so far. Let's look at the update. This is the next day. Okay, I know that maybe y'all weren't expecting an update, but here we are. To start off, to the handful of people saying this is fake, I don't know, man. I wish it was fake, but I can't really do much to change your minds. Second, I saw a few people ask about the steak. It was amazing. Anyways, I did read a lot of comments last night before bed, and I started contemplating calling off the engagement because everybody made good points about their behavior and handling the situation. I decided to sleep on my thoughts, and this morning I woke up to a couple of texts from my fiance, her father, and her mother. Her mother actually apologized and asked to call me, so I did. Okay, well, that's a good step, I guess. When she answered, she sounded like death and proceeded to apologize again and explain that all day yesterday she had felt a little off but kept a brave face as she didn't want anyone to worry. Turns out she has the flu. She kept apologizing profusely and said she was indeed a little grossed out by seeing me eat this potato skin because she'd never seen anyone else do that, but she wasn't gonna yuck your yum and had it not been for the sickness. Oh. Apparently, after running off, she did indeed vom, but she also felt extremely weak and got the chills. It was so bad, she went straight to bed. She also told me that she talked to my fiance this morning and that there was a reason she lashed out at me so badly. Turns out, I'm gonna be a father? What? Okay, plot twist, plot twist. Her mother explained that my fiance brought her a light breakfast and they sat talking about what happened at dinner. During the conversation, my fiance apparently knocked over a teacup and became overly distressed and started to tear up. This prompted her mother to question if she could be pregnant. After a quick stop at the pharmacy and 4 pregnancy tests later, she was right, which honestly does explain her moods being different this past week. I don't want to be a stereotypical man, but I kind of assumed it was her period. My fiance's text was an apology and a picture of the 4 positive pregnancy tests. I did call her as well, and we discussed how she lashed out at me. She apologized multiple times and even started crying about how she doesn't want to ruin 6 years. Her father apologized for asking me to leave and said he only did so because my fiance seemed so upset and he thought it was best to give us room before anything harmful could be said. I'm still processing all of this roller coaster, but yeah. Her mother doesn't see me as a disgusting creature. Everyone apologized and things seem fine now. Although I'm worried I might get sick since her mother let me try a sip from her wine glass last night. Haha. Sorry if this isn't the ending you were hoping for, but I'm glad things weren't as bad as I thought. Yeah. That's not how I expected it to end. Again, everybody was happy in the ending. Everything was resolved. This is great. This is great. Let's read some comments. I have to say that out of all possible things, a surprise baby reveal is not what I was expecting at the end of this potato post. Yeah, I think that would have been far from my guess. There's a little baked potato in her oven. Oh my God. I've never eaten the skin of a baked potato though. All right. This is a different one than I thought I was going to read, but let's see. My girlfriend, 32 female, has been very sad since she found out her ex-boyfriend is getting married. This doesn't seem good. So I, 30 male, have been dating my girlfriend for about 4 months now. Everything was going great for us until she learned that her ex-boyfriend of 9 years was getting married. They had broken up in June last year and we started dating in July this year. We have tons in common and we really enjoy each other's company. Anyway, last week, please hold, I think there's a motorcycle or a rocket ship outside. I don't know what's happening. We're going to continue reading. We have tons in common and we really enjoy each other's company. Anyway, last week, one of her old friends who knew her ex informed my girlfriend that he was getting married to his new girlfriend. My girlfriend was shocked to say the least. And when her friend left, she went on Facebook and spent almost an hour looking through his profile. Okay, he was a longtime BF, so she must have been curious. But ever since that day, she has been really sad and stressed and keeps spending her time on Facebook looking through everything about her ex and his bride-to-be. When I finally asked if he was the one who got away from her, she denied it. She said something along the lines of, I want to see what's special about her. She says she isn't pining for him, he didn't treat her well, and that even if he asked her, she wouldn't go back. In fact, he had reached out to her multiple times after breaking up, but she turned him down every time. So Reddit, my question is, if you don't love him still, then why keep obsessing over his bride-to-be? What am I missing here? I think, and they only got together like a year and a month after their breakup. I feel like that's a little soon, but I don't know. When you're in a relationship for that long, I think it will take longer to kind of get out of the feels, get out of that bubble you're in, that breakup bubble, I guess. And that could have triggered something, like hearing of that person that she tried to forget and how he's now marrying a girl that he's known less time than her, that he had known for almost a decade. I also feel like he could be marrying her because they were together for less than a decade, and that's quite a lot of time to be dating someone and not I guess get married. So he could just be marrying her because that's just the next girl he knew, and he did what he didn't do with her, I guess. It doesn't really sound like it's making sense coming out of my mouth, but it makes sense in my head. Okay. So I don't think I think that's what's happening. Somebody said he strung her along for 9 years and is marrying the girl he only recently met. That's probably where her sadness is coming from. Why wasn't she good enough to garner a commitment, like marriage? What does this girl have that she doesn't? Not logical, but that's probably what's running through her mind. Yeah. Okay, here's the next day update. So I got a lot of advice on my last post. Thank you. Most of it was helpful, with a lot of commenters detailing their own personal and painful experiences with similar situations. It was an eye-opening experience for me, so a special thanks to those commenters. Some comments were regular advice, Reddit advice to break up, and one of them even called me a cucumber. But all in all, making this post did really help me a lot in deciding on how to approach this with my girlfriend. So anyways, now let's get on with the actual update. After reading the comments and doing some thinking, I decided the best course of action is to talk to her. Great, perfect. So I went to her favorite restaurant, got her favorite dish packed, and then went to her apartment. When she came out, I told her that, look, I can't stay. I understand what you're going through because I can't say I understand what you're going through because I don't. It's something personal to you, and as much as I would like to help you out or share some of your grief, I respect your choice and decisions. But as your boyfriend, I do have some rights here, and I'm invoking that right and asking you that you not be hungry and sad. If you want to be sad, then please be sad on a full stomach, filled with your favorite food. That's all I ask. Hearing this, she became emotional. Reading this and becoming emotional. Oh my god. That is like, I have never read somebody in real life doing that. It's always been in fictional books. That is 10 out of 10 move right there. That's amazing. Then she said, I haven't been the best girlfriend in the world for the past week, and I apologize for that. It's just that it's been hard for me to see someone with whom I've spent 9 years of my life and who gave me a lot of excuses. Now he's just disregarding his own statements. Can you imagine anyone in a 9-year relationship where the couple don't live with each other or don't go on holidays together? They have absolutely no talk of getting engaged or married. Hell, he even got upset if I sent him a text while he was working. Well, me and my ex were like that. On top, he always used to say that marriage was an institution, is archaic, and he won't participate in it. He also looked down upon age gap relationships too. Now he is marrying someone 8 years younger than him and is already living with her and gone on holidays together too. That's why I have been feeling down. I don't want him back. I have already upgraded to a much higher level. She met me. But it's just the feeling of wasting 9 years of my life, which is the most painful. Yeah. I had a feeling that it wasn't about getting him back and missing him. She just, feels upset that she wasted that much time on someone who didn't seem to care as much as she did, which is unfortunate and hard. So I gave her a hug and told her that if she wanted a shoulder to cry on or a mouth to talk shit about her ex, I can do both. So we both shared a laugh then. When I was leaving, she asked if she can stay with me for a couple days, as she doesn't want to be alone. I said sure. So she came with me, and right now she's setting up her workstation in my other bedroom while I'm making this update. She will be staying with me the whole week. So thank you again, people. You have been of immense help. Yeah, people are sharing their life stories, but there's this comment. I'm convinced that a lot of them do it to prove a point, that they are not the issue, while also getting to quietly turn the knife on their ex. I suspect there is zero regard for who they're marrying or why. Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to explain. Like, they don't want to marry this person because, they want to marry, or that they love them, or they feel like they could spend the rest of their life with them. I feel like it's more of kind of like a payback kind of thing, That's my hypothesis. What do you think? I think all of these updates ended out pretty good. Ended in the best way possible. I feel like the noise complaint one, I don't know, I feel like she could have gotten more consequences for her actions there, but whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you like these Reddit update videos. I don't think they're my favorite compared to the other Reddit stories that I read, because they're just longer, and now my voice is like hoarse. It's a horse. My voice is a horse. But while you're down there commenting, click all the buttons. You know what to do. And I hope you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world viewing this, and peace.